So you might at this point ask me, why are we calculating the cumulative density function? Well, there's a really good reason, because I can actually use the cumulative density function to find what is called the 5-number summary. It's called the 5-number summary because, guess what? It's got 5 numbers. So in this case, we represent them by q's, quarters. So Q0 happens to actually be the minimum. Guess what Q4 is? Yeah, you're probably right. It's the maximum. Q2, the one that's right there in the middle, happens to be the median. Then Q1 and Q3 are the first and third quartiles, respectively. Okay? What these represent are 25% marks. So that means at this mark, at Q0, there's 0% of people below this. At the first quartile, it's the first 25%. 25% of people are below this number. At Q2, 50% of people are below this. At Q3, it's 75% of people are below this. And the maximum, 100% of people are below this. Now, I'm going to try to take these bits of information and try to apply it to my cumulative density function to actually find these answers. So here's what I'm going to do. First and foremost, I'm going to find the minimum and the maximum. Those are the easiest. So I'm going to look at this example I've been using before. Remember, this represents tons of gravel being sold. So in this case, I've got 0 is less than 0 every time x is less than 0. That means that it's always 0 as long as it's below an x value of 0. In this case, it's saying you can't sell negative tons of gravel, and that's very helpful. In this case, that means my minimum is 0, okay? X equals 0. I can't sell less than 0 tons of gravel. You can't really do that unless you consider returns or anything like that, which we're not. We're just talking about selling gravel. So again, my minimum in this case is x equals 0. My maximum is anything greater than 1 is 1. So that means I'm not going to sell any more than 1 ton of gravel in that specified time period. 1 is the maximum. Notice that also happens to be my bounds of this middle part. So that's very helpful. Now, the minimum and maximum are taken care of. What I need to worry about now are the first quartile, median, and the third quartile. So here's how I'm going to find those. I'll do Q1 first. Remember, Q1 happens to be the first quartile, which is the 25% mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this middle part of my piecewise function, and I'm going to set it equal to 0.25, because remember, that's a quarter. Think about it. If I wanted to do the median, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the middle part of my equation, and I'm going to set it equal to 0.5 or 0.50, which is 2 quarters, 50%. For the third quartile, I'm going to do 3 over 2x minus 1/2 of x cubed equals 3 quarters, which is 0.75. Now, in this case, my equation is not very easy to solve. So what I'm going to do instead is either use an equation solver, which I did, or I can use GeoGebra. If I graph this function first, all I have to do is say y equals, 0.25. And at that point, if I graph this and I graph the 3/2 x minus 1/2 x cubed, these two things will intersect, and I can actually click on the dot and it'll show me what that x value is, which is what I want. And so when I did this in my graphing, or actually I use an equation solver, for this one, for Q1, it gave me 3 numbers. So I'm going to write all of those down. Negative 1.81004. It also gave me 0.168254. It also gave me the last one, 1.64178. Now, here's the thing. We said we can't sell negative tons of gravel, so this one's not going to work. We also said the maximum is 1. I'm not going to sell more than 1 ton of gravel. So right there, at 0.168254 tons of gravel, that's the 25% mark. That is saying that 25% of the time I'm going to sell 0.168254 tons or less. Now, when I did the median, I'm going to go ahead and write these down. I got, again, first one was negative 1.87939. I got 0.347296, and I got 1.53209. Again, too big, too small. There's my one that's just right. So 50% of the time, I'm going to sell 0.347296 tons of gravel or less. And the last one is negative 1.9 4224, 0.557875, and 1.38437. Again, too big, too small, just right. So 75% of the time I will sell 0.557875 or less. Tons of gravel. So hopefully this helps. Remember these numbers. We are going to come back in just a hot second and make a box and whisker plot out of these 5 numbers. Min, max, Q1, Q2, Q3. All right, again, coming back. See you in a minute.